How's it going, YouTube? Gunner9213 here, and in the flesh. As you can see, I'm actually staying at a Holiday Inn right now, and I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. So, what's going on is I became a over-the-road truck driver with Swift. I know a lot of people bag on Swift, but Swift's a good company from what I've experienced so far. So if you're watching this video, you're probably looking at, you know, joining Swift, right? Applying for Swift, being a truck driver, getting your CDL, and even possibly living in California, getting your CDL, because I live in California. So this video is probably gonna be broken up into a couple different parts, just to kind of see how it goes. And I'm gonna go over joining Swift, the whole, like, from when you apply, talk to the recruiter, everything like that, through CDL school, and then actually getting out onto the mentor's truck, which is where I'm going today. So let's get into it. So you go ahead and you apply for Swift Transportation online, on their website, swifttransportation.com, right? So when you apply, they're going to ask you your driving history, your medical history, things like that. Big disqualifiers immediately is drug use. When you get to Swift, they're going to give you at least 2 drug tests. One of them will be a hair follicle test. And the hair follicle isn't just pluck one hair and they cut a good chunk of hair so they can send that all to the lab, get it tested, right? And that goes back about 3 to 6 months, depending on if you don't have any hair on top of your head, right? It goes back even longer. If they take from like your chest or your legs or your arms or something like that, it goes back even longer. So it's something to be aware of, right? Don't get sent home for a dirty test when you can just wait a little bit longer and get that test actually done. Drugs and alcohol is a big thing. Be honest about your driving record. They're going to find out anyways. You're going to have to send in, their information or whatever. They're gonna find out. So don't get kicked out for lying. Just tell them. All right, they'll work with you. There's people that were in my class had DUIs and shit like that, felons. Like, as long as you are safe and there's been time that's passed, everything like that, Swift will take a look at you at least, right? So you go on, you apply. They're going to give you a recruiter. They're going to tell you to download this app called the Driver Pulse app. That's how Swift is going to send you all the forms that you sign. That's how the whole hiring process is going to go through. Talk to your recruiter, talk to people through that app, Driver Pulse. You can go ahead and you can search for other jobs, stuff on there. It's all logistics, trucking jobs. So go ahead and download that. I highly recommend it. And if you're like me, I lived in California and I didn't have a permit or anything. I just had my regular Class C driver's license. So I went, and they're like, all right, well, we're going to have to do a week-long permit class prior to coming to the actual school for your actual CDL class. So I said, okay, cool. So post-COVID-19, they have you log into a Zoom meeting. They'll send you all the information about a day beforehand, the login codes and meeting ID and stuff like that, because that Zoom code keeps going. And it's a live class with you, and for me it was about 15 other people. And the instructor, at least this is California, I don't know about how other states do it. Some states you might need to already have your stuff, some that you don't, right? This is just California. So your instructor, you sit there for, it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday class. You sit there for the entire thing. It's 8 hours long. You get plenty of breaks. And then after that, you just, they'll give you tests along the way that you do your tests. And they'll say, okay, show up on Sunday to this motel, and you'll start school on Monday. Now the motel is a Motel 6. It is not the best motel. There is a lot of police activity. There's a lot of stuff going on. Just be warned, right? Bring earplugs. I didn't, but I probably should have. I would have got a lot more sleep. Just be warned, right? You're not in the nicest of neighborhoods. That's all I'm going to say on that. So Monday shows up. The hotel has a shuttle that runs at 5:45, takes you to the yard in Fontana, California. It's a Swift yard. However, the CDL school is a third-party school. It's not Swift that runs the school. Swift is the one that owns the yard. It's Swift equipment. Swift is there. However, the school is through CTDA, California Truck Driving Academy. All right. So, anyways, then you go ahead and you start your classroom portion there. And again, for about a week. So Monday you show up, brief overview. It's half days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's half days. So you show up. They'll break up the group depending on how big your class is into two groups. One will show up from 7 to 11. One will show up from 11 to 5 or something like that. 4, something like that. 3. I think it's 3. Anyways, whatever. But you show up, halfway for the first Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you show up. Post-COVID, they take your temperature, masks, all that stuff. So show up, do paperwork, and they send you home at 11. Show up the next day, it's your physical day. Tuesdays is always physical day there at Fontana. Physicals are free. Even if you're showing up with a physical, if it's not a Swift approved doctor, or it's not a physical that's within 60 days. So even you got it 3 months ago and it's for 2 years. Well, if it's not within 60 days, they make you do another one free of charge, but they make you do theirs. So it's a full physical, just like you'd expect any other physical. They make you pee in a cup. That's not a drug test. That's just to see your blood in your urine, sugar levels, all that stuff, protein, all that stuff. So also on Monday you do your hair follicle test. So on Monday with me, they grab some hair back here, probably about that much, and just snip, snip, snip. Right? They don't give you a bald spot or anything like that, but they do make sure they get enough. So then, gentlemen, ladies, right? If you're a man, this is the one I know, obviously man. Your neck size. If your neck is over 17 inches, if your BMI is over 40, and there's other things they'll ask you, do you snore at night? Do you stop breathing? Whatever. They're checking for sleep apnea, and they will have you do a sleep apnea study. And it's an at-home sleep study. They mail it out. It costs $200. Our class called it the fat tax because everybody that was fat had to pay it. So you pay $200. They overnight a sleep study. That thing you wear around your chest. Put the little things in your nose, like it's the oxygen thing right in your nose, and you wear one of those like oxidizer things on your finger. It's uncomfortable. You can sleep with it. It's kind of uncomfortable. I slept on my stomach, so I didn't really have an issue. And they're checking to see if you have sleep apnea, because sleep apnea is a big thing for truck driving. If you don't sleep at night, you're behind the wheel during the day, it's not a good look. So, if you need the CPAP machine, I didn't, but if you do, it's about an extra $600, and it all comes out of your pocket. So just be prepared for that. So for the first week, you're just doing paperwork, things like that. You're doing classroom stuff. They'll give you a bunch of questions that pertain to the permit test to get your commercial learning permit for your commercial driver's license. And they'll give you about 100 questions. You just study, get the right answer from the handbook, and you study it, right? It's a cram session. So Thursday, you actually go take your permit test at Swift in Fontana. This is Fontana only. You take it at Swift. You find out right then and there if you pass, and you get your permit. They send it out to the DMV. This is going to be the end of part 1. Check for part 2.